Hi, this is Melody. I thank you everyone for remembering me, praying for me, and asking me to come back. Story. So this is the haunted house, and I have done few haunted houses as well. So this is gonna be the haunted house number 3. So let me explain the character names before I start the story. So the story main character is Mr. Rohit Sharma and his wife is Rakhi Sharma, their daughter Priya and son Sonu. And Mr. Rohit Sharma's brother's name Ramesh Sharma, his wife Nilima, and daughters Pinky and son is Ashish. So their son and daughters are like couple of years older and younger, but they're pretty same age, pretty much same age. So Mr. Rohit Sharma used to live in a very rural village with his old parents and his wife and 2 children and his other 2 brothers. His big brother Ramesh Sharma went to city to get a job with his wife Neelam and their 2 son and a daughter, and they were doing good in the city, as Ramesh got a good job in the city. So Mr. Rohit Sharma was doing farming in the village. He decided to go to the city to join his other brother and make a better life for himself and his family. So he traveled to the city to live with his brother. His brother had a little house which he purchased. It wasn't huge, it had like 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So they all shared the place, and they're together. There were 8 people, but they were very nice and easy to get along and compromise with the situation kind of people. And the children were grown up to be like that too, just like the parents. So he came and he was staying with his brother, and at that time he was driving taxi, and his brother was driving taxi too, but his brother bought his own taxi, so he had to pay less to the company. And Rohit just started, so he's going to have to save up the money to buy his own taxi. But they were doing okay. He was driving taxi in the evening and morning time. He worked at a convenience store where he was getting a good salary for taking care of the entire store. So his work started 6 a.m. 6 a.m. he got up from home and got ready and left home, and his actual day started from 7 a.m. To start working at the store, and then he finished at 3 p.m. and then he while 3 p.m. after he finished he came home and just ate something, took a little rest, and then he went to drive his taxi around 6 p.m. and 6 to 10 he drove taxi near the airport and brought people home. So between 2 jobs he was doing about 70 to 80 hours a week, and that left him pretty exhausted. And his wife, she's also Rakhi, she's also a very good person and knew how to manage the house. So she would take care of all 4 children after school, and she cook and clean while Ramesh and his wife Nilima. Ramesh did taxi driving and Nilima worked at a grocery store. So she worked all day too, and she came home in the evening while Rakhi kept the whole house running. So they were all together helping each other to keep the house good. So Ramesh already bought a little townhouse 3 bedroom, And he knew that his brother Rohit would stay there, save up, and can buy a house. So as they were staying, and they were doing really good with each other. They were a very nice family, loving, kind family, and they lived happily with whatever they have. And he's been living there for about 5 years. He saved up enough money to get a townhouse, pay down payment for his house. One day he was driving a client from airport to his home, and this client's name was Ashok, Mr. Ashok. So he was driving, and Mr. Ashok was very nice and kind. So he was talking. Then he was talking that how he's coming from Mumbai and is coming to his parents' house, and his parents just recently passed away. The house is there, so he has to look after it, and then he has to leave again. But they're trying to sell it because keeping a tenant is very dangerous. Tenant may not move while he doesn't live there. So, and he didn't wanted to live in parents' house. He wanted to live in a even bigger city. So then Mr. Rohit showed his interest to buy the place, and Mr. Ashok told him that the house is pretty old because it's like 80 to 100 years old, and his parents never did much of a remodeling or anything because they loved the property too much, and they didn't want to do anything new, and they didn't let him do anything breaking or any new remodeling either. And most of the appliances does not work, so it's like living in old age. You have to do everything with old technology, like dishwasher doesn't work, so you have to wash hair your dishes by hand, and washing machine doesn't work, so you have to wash clothes and dry them. They have a clothesline outside in the backyard, and for cooking they just have to cook in the backyard. They created some stove in the backyard, with some breaks, like barbecue style stove, and all the appliances doesn't work. So either Mr. Rohit can get new appliances or live the way his parents were living. So Mr. Rohit agreed, and the price was too cheap because Mr. Ashok was going to go to US, so he had to just sell it and get it out of his hands so he could go for abroad for better job opportunity. So Mr. Rohit got the entire big house for only $50,000, so he didn't have to take any loan or anything. Whatever he saved up in 5 years, he used the entire money to buy that house. House was very big, but only problem that it needed a lot of repairs. So Mr. Rohit and his wife Rakhi and Mr. Ramesh and his wife Nilima, they thought that since the house is very huge, they all can live, and they can just do the repair, one by one. And Mr. Ramesh, Rohit's brother, could gradually sell his place and make money off it, and they all can live in that gigantic, huge house all together. So for now, Mr. Rohit and Rakhi was going to move there and then slowly do all the remodeling. And this place wasn't very far away from Mr. Ramesh Rohit's brother's house. It was just from brother's house 5 minutes of walk, so it wasn't far away either. It was good for them. But the only thing, the house was extremely old and everything broken. So they bought the house, and they had a prayer ceremony, house blessing, and they had a housewarming party with their family member and friends, and they were very happy to have a property of their own. And then they started living, and when they started living, Mr. Rohit, as usual, used to get up at 6 a.m. and go to work by 7, and he came back at 10 p.m. Sometimes if he didn't have customer, he came back at 8 and ate his food, went to sleep. But if he did have customer, he'll come back at 10 and then eat his meal and go to sleep. So they had a very strict schedule life, as they had to make money to pay bills. And the children were always studying. And then since they have a big house, there was a big backyard and front yard. So Raki even got busier because she started growing some flowers in the front and vegetables in the back. As nobody was home, and she would do housework in the daytime and clean and garden. When she did housework in the house, she would hear people talking, two old person, a man and a woman. But she would go all around the house, but she didn't see anybody. And she had a little tape recorder, so she will record it and hear it to make her husband hear it at night time. And they all heard it. Yes, the old man and a wife talking, but they didn't understand what they're talking. And sometimes they'll be scratching on the walls or banging on the walls, or somebody walking, or light turning off and on. And they'll be sitting down in the living room watching TV. All of a sudden the channel will start changing, and sometimes the TV would get turned off by itself, sometimes turned on by itself at midnight. And then sometimes Rocky would hear that somebody's in the kitchen making tea, coffee, and there'll be smell of tea and coffee. And she'll get up and come to the kitchen, but she wouldn't see anybody, but she will see things out of place. So this thing started happening, and they were very concerned, and they all knew that this happening. Even children started noticing things like they would hear people talking in their rooms, and sometimes if they did some mischief, they hit something, the wall or in the garden, they will hear somebody say, "Stop that, don't do that, or don't damage it," like that. So Raki was digging in the garden to put her plants, and somebody said to her, "Stop digging, don't ruin the backyard." So they will hear things like that. So they had no way to contact Mr. Asok. He sold it and it was gone, and they didn't know whom to go to ask about. But they asked around in the neighborhood where they are. So the neighborhood people say, yes, there was an old man and his wife, and first the old man died and then his wife died the next year. But their son was living abroad, so he didn't come to do much. He came to do the final ceremonies, but he didn't stay. He just did it in a couple of days and went away. So this house is sitting vacant. So they did more house blessing, more prayer ceremony, but it seemed like nothing seemed to help, but these ghosts weren't doing any harm, but they were always talking, and they would get upset if they dig somewhere or want to make something new. So, but they had to fix up the old house. So as they started fixing up the house, the problem really increased. They would hear more banging on the wall, somebody shouting, getting mad, and the contractor came to do the work. They would say they were getting hurt, fell down from the steps. So things like that are happening. So they did more prayer ceremony, but more they did smudging and prayer ceremony. It actually increased more. It didn't decrease because it made the spirits more angry. So at the end, they had to compromise and make a deal with the spirits. So they didn't do any fixing or anything making new. They just did whatever they could and painted and lived there hoping someday they would have enough money to buy something good, move out. But still, then they didn't know where they move next. It will be free of any spirit or ghost. What way to know? There is no way to know that it will be free. So they just made the best of it and keep living there and tried to sneak in little home improvement every now and then. And for that, they had to pay a hefty price of getting hit or pushed, or hearing the banging on the wall or scratching on the wall, or somebody getting mad and talking, shouting. So the everybody in their family and everybody in the neighborhood knew the house is haunted because the old man and his wife didn't want to leave the house. They were very much in love with the house and they didn't want anybody to do any changes. But then again, the house cannot sit alone, as their son wanted to sell the house and make money off it and take it and go away to abroad. So nobody could do anything, and these people wanted to save some money so they could sell the house again and just buy something different, hoping this time it will be better. So this was a ghost story, and this is a true ghost story, but these were gentle ghosts. They didn't do anything severe. After all, they do bring on trouble, anger, and a lot of mind controlling. They're not very good at mind controlling, but what else? Sometimes when they were fixing, people were fixing, they pushed people to fall down from the stairs, fell down from the steps, so they got mad. They would do this kind of tricks, so people a lot of times they left. They didn't want to do any more of remodeling because they said they'll be getting hit by invisible things which pushing them off the stairs, pushing them off the ladders. So this was the story about True Ghost, and the title I'm putting the Haunted House 3 because I think I have done 2 of those. There are so many haunted houses all over the world. It's just you cannot count it, so many. So thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share, and I'll see you with many more. Bye bye, sweet dreams, good night.